that just shut right off, didn't it there? What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Fantasy Alarm MLB live stream. I'm Howard Bender, MLB DFS live stream. I'm Howard Bender. I'm here with Henry Wilson while John Impemba goes. He's on airport pickup duty today, so we don't get to, get John in here. It's, it happens. We'll miss him. We love him. We appreciate all you guys still tuning in here. Hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate that. A bit of a 7-game shorter slate than usual here on a Thursday. But you know what, Henry? We get like a 6:40 p.m. Eastern start, which gets in those extra 2 games for us. So, hey, how are you? B, what's up?
Yeah, doing good. Excited for some baseball. Yeah, weird small slate today. It's kind of an odd one with the pitching matchups and stuff too, but it should be a fun one. I'm excited for some more baseball. So yeah.
How could you not be more excited for more baseball? It's always a great thing. So we appreciate you guys all being here. If you've got comments, obviously pop them into the chat. We're very much looking forward. Look at it already here. Already it's a Poe Degen Stoner baseball and bong rip season continues, baby, from Garden City, Colorado. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you ripping a bong hit for us and enjoying that. We got some great baseball talk that we'll hit you with right here and right now. So let's just get to it here, Henry. There's a handsome little slate right there, and oh baby, here we go. Top price pitching on the board. Now, John Impemba did the playbook today, so you guys can go check that out over at fantasyalarm.com. Top price pitchers here on the board, and I wrote up a bunch of guys in the best bets article, as well as in the underdog and sleeper and the props and all the other stuff that goes on over at Fantasy Alarm. So I've written up and broken down a bunch of these guys here, but let me ask you, Henry. Tanner Houck at the top, going up against the White Sox, who are starting Jake Woodford. Sonny Gray hosting Colorado. That's always tasty. They strike out a ton. Reynaldo Lopez taking on the pesky Washington Nationals. And then we've got, under 9K, but still considered a top option here for tonight. You got Walker Buehler taking on Bailey Falter and the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, it is some fun stuff today. I love my boy Tanner Houck getting the love of the top price guy. I think it's pretty well deserved too, going against the White Sox, and he's just been excellent all season. But he's not my favorite here today. I got to still go away from him because my favorite's Sonny Gray. Man, Sonny Gray has been pitching awesome. And here facing Colorado, not in Colorado, is obviously a great spot for anybody. But he's just been fantastic really all season. Obviously, he's had a few home run issues earlier in the season. And last outing, sure, he only made it 5 innings and 4 earned runs, but 10 strikeouts against the Phillies. That's not super easy thing to do either. So he's electric. It's a great matchup. I love Sonny Gray today.
Yeah, defense has not been his best of friends, and yeah, these lineups that he has faced, right? You've got strong lefties in that Cubs lineup. You've got that Phillies lineup, which is just always dangerous. Defense didn't help him against Baltimore, and yeah, the Milwaukee Angels games, whatever. I'm happy to put those aside. The K rate is absolutely spectacular. I prefer a few less free passes just to kind of keep the damage off the board, but on a shorter slate like this, I'm definitely in on that. Now, the guy who John seems to highlight the most is obviously Walker Buehler. I dig Buehler. Obviously, the strikeout rate for Pittsburgh right now is through the roof. And I also feel like there's some win equity baked into this one right now, just because, for the Dodgers, it's swinging with a donut on the bat, right? You go Jared Jones, Paul Skeens, and now you're getting Bailey Falter. So I feel like the Dodger bats will definitely help out Walker Buehler. How do you like him just from a pitching standpoint, strikeout potential, everything like that?
Yeah, I like Walker Buehler here. Obviously, he hasn't been incredible or anything, but also this is coming back from injury. And so we knew that it was going to take him some time to get under his feet. He wasn't going to jump in and be immediately the old Walker Buehler we knew, but he's still been solid. And when you think of the fact that it's just taken some time for him to ramp up, he didn't get a spring training, these first couple starts are what you would, be weighing on someone if it was the start of the season or even spring training, and he's coming in and putting in decent results. And I think the upside is huge. So especially here in this matchup against Pittsburgh, is a really good chance for him to take another step forward and being the fantastic Walker Buehler that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I agree, and I look forward to watching him tonight. I've got him locked in to a couple of DFS lineups that I was already building, and I definitely invested in the Dodgers bats betting wise against Bailey Falter. What about the crew right below it now? Pablo Lopez, Marcus Stroman, Hunter Green, Javier Assad. I normally like Assad, but he is in Cincinnati. Stroman against the Minnesota Twins is fine as long as he doesn't face Royce Lewis. I don't know. What do you like? Do you like any of these tiered guys?
No, honestly, I don't like any of them. I don't like this area because, again, sure, Pablo Lopez is super talented, but the Yankees are way too scary right now. Stroman, I don't think has the upside. Like Hunter Green is so volatile, and yeah, Assad in Cincinnati too. Like Cincinnati is such a scary ballpark. I just, this tier of guys, I look at it and I think I'd rather just find the money to go up to at least like Walker Buehler, or if not, I'm just going to play down because I just don't like this section today.
How far down are you willing to go? Look at this crew here: Parker, Ciccone, Falter, Quantrill, Woodford, and Vasquez.
Yeah, look, it's tough down here also. Like the pitching is rough today. Let's just get that out of the way. But I think there are some intriguing places here. Obviously, Mitchell Parker has been pitching super well. It's against Atlanta, though. So, that scares me a lot. I think if I am going down here, my preferred spot is Cal Quantrill. And I know it's the other side of Sonny Gray, who is my favorite today. And look, odds are I'm probably just going to be paying up for pitching today. But if I'm going down, Cal Quantrill's looked really good this season. He had a rough outing last time, but St. Louis isn't necessarily a scary offense. It's not in Colorado, and we've seen some really good outings out of Cal Quantrill already this season. So why not take the shot for 6,000?
Right, for 6,000. And listen, you know what? I mean, if you're just building a cash lineup, I don't mind using, Quantrill and Sonny Gray together. That fine for a cash game where you just have to beat half the field. It just it doesn't have the you don't have the win upside, the 2-win upside of that you need for a GPP. But I'm with you there on Quantrill. I like that a lot. I'm also in agreement with you. I think tonight is just the night that we're paying up for pitching.
Yeah, pitching is rough.
Yeah. I mean, I'm ready to. I mean, I could just say Gray and Buehler right now, and then we could just start building off of that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
my preferred way to go for sure. You can go down. There's other options, but most likely, that's the type of build I'm looking at.
So let's move to the catcher position here. Obviously, at the top end of this, you could try. We're not going to use Diaz. Stevenson against Assad. It still seems like a little. 4,000 seems a little pricey for him. Who do you like at the higher end of catchers, or are we just punting altogether?
If I am at the higher end, I'm probably not the high end, and I'm going like a Sean Murphy here against Parker. Batting 6, only 3,500. Obviously, it's been a slow start, but coming back from the injured list, we still know how good of a bat he can be. So, if I'm going high end, this is probably as high as I'm going, and I'll take a shot with Sean Murphy.
Okay, yeah, I'm in agreement there. Everybody else, no, there's just nobody trustworthy, out of this group. So, looking further down. Some potential opportunities as to where you want to go. I don't know. Keibert Ruiz, if he's batting in the middle of the order at $3,000 going up against Reynaldo Lopez. I'm not really that bullish on Lopez tonight. And I like Lopez normally, but I'm just not really that bullish on him against Washington. The Nationals can be a pesky team that works the count. They're not a huge strikeout team. So I kind of avoid that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I also am not really in on Reynaldo today. And yeah, I would totally go Keibert Ruiz. He's been someone I've kind of been playing a lot recently because he has been so cheap. The price is going up a little bit because he has been hitting well, but it's still low enough. He's got a good bat and batting 5th. Yeah, I'm happily going to go there again today.
How do you feel about getting Austin Barnes in there against Bailey Falter, at least to start? Falter will be there. No Will Smith tonight. To me, this is like one of those areas where you kind of benefit from the backup catcher getting the start here at 2,300.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2,300 and it's a part of the Dodgers lineup. Like,
Yeah.
sure, Austin Barnes is not some great hitter. The upside's probably not crazy, but for that cheap, he's a part of a strong lineup that there's a really good chance he can get you a handful of points, which is all you need at that price.
Yeah. Swave wants to know, or S-Wave, not sure how, but it says Swave there, wants to know your thoughts on Connor Wong here going up against Woodford. Obviously, it's a decent spot against him. You know, I don't mind Connor Wong, but are we paying up 3,700 here for him?
I think it's just too much. I really like Connor Wong, but I think I like him a lot better when it's against a lefty. Like, he hits lefties so well that this kind of price, if it's a lefty matchup, like, I really trust him to pay that much. But I know it's not like a strong right or anything. Woodford's not someone to run away from, but I just don't think I want to pay that much for Connor Wong here.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. Our boy P. D. Gen Stoner wants to lock into. He likes likes a good reach around stack.
Sure.
With Austin Barnes, so could be the way we end up going here, just for value's sake. I mean, if we were to put him in there right now, it brings us back to $4,200 per player.
That helps a lot. Go in the high price pitchers. We kind of have to.
Yeah. So let's go over to the first base side here. Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Spencer Steer. Oh, geez, Steer so expensive here. 5,600, 5,000 or greater, like, you know, or higher. Who do you like out of this crew?
You know, I don't love the very top end of first base today. Again, I like Steer, and obviously the Dodgers guys, I'm not going to ever dislike them, but they're crazy expensive. You know, if I have to pick one to plug in, I'm probably just going to go with Christian Walker against Vasquez here today. He's the cheapest of the bunch, really quality hitter, obviously. And I just think the matchup's pretty good here for the Diamondbacks. So just for the sake that he's also cheaper than the rest of those guys and a quality hitter, I'm probably going there at the top end.
Yeah, I like the you know, I like the production here, the 3 doubles, the 2 homers, the 5 ribby, you know, over the last 10 games. It's not like elite level production, but it's just, it pays the value. So if you don't like the top end here, let's talk the middle. Where do we want to go with this one? We could go Anthony Rizzo against Pablo Lopez, although Rizzo's been a little on the cold side there. We could start looking at some Reds here against, against Javier Assad. Candelario's nice and cheap. Well,
yeah, I do really like the Reds against Assad today. Again, Assad's been pitching great, but I just don't know how long it can continue. And so I've been in on Candelario. I would totally go back there today. I also like Michael Busch there at 4,500. Like, look, I know Hunter Green's a tough matchup. He's been really great, and he's done a great job limiting the home runs this year. But I just don't know if he's going to sustain this like 0.6 homer per 9 that he has right now, especially pitching in Cincinnati. Like, that's the #1 home run park in all of baseball. So here in this matchup, like, I think Michael Busch is an intriguing way to go as well.
Yeah, and Busch, you know, the problem with Busch though is that he's kind of like been on a little bit of a cold spell. He was starting to heat up a little bit, and then all of a sudden he got ice cold. I mean, remember back in the days when this kid was hitting a home run like 6 days in a row?
We probably aren't going to get back to there, but I still think he has some value. But I think I like Candelario even a little better. He's been someone I've been riding with who has had a hot bat, and the Reds have really started to pick it up there if you're living in this range. I
do like him as well. Anything further down here? Stroman facing Kirilloff or Santana.
Yeah, I don't mind kind of going some Twins today. I don't trust Stroman a whole lot. Like, I know he has been pitching well, and sure, he's a sinker baller, limits those home runs, but it's still Yankee Stadium. This Twins lineup is still pretty hot. And so, like, a Kirilloff batting second for this cheap, I think is, worth to think about.
Okay. All right. And then I don't really like to go all the way down here. I'm not going to use, any of these, real late in the order here. Kind of guys. I'm ready to move to second if you are.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll pick our first baseman in a little bit.
Yeah.
The lean is Candelario, though, isn't it?
I think so. That is where I'm leaning, but we'll see.
Which should be interesting because if we can afford like a red stack in there against Assad, I'm not against that. So if we can afford Steer as well, I mean, and get the 3-4 hitters,
sure.
Both guys have multi-position eligibility, which gives us that nice flexibility. So
yeah, that's the only way I'm willing to pay that 5,600 for Steer is if you're stacking Reds, then put them in there. But besides that, it's just so expensive.
Ozzie Albies against the lefty. It's like set your watch by it. It seems to be everybody's favorite play. Ketel Marte against Vasquez. Cronenworth has been hot lately. He's going up against Slade Ciccone. And then Gleiber, who's also been a little bit hot lately, against Pablo Lopez.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in this top end, though, I don't see how you don't go Ozzie Albies against the lefty, because it's only 5,100. It's not like that's some absurd high price is 6K or anything. So when you're talking about not that much more than those couple of next guys, I'm just going to go with Ozzie Albies against the lefty if I can swing it.
Yeah, I am too. And he's due for another one of these nice little multi-hit runs that he goes on. And yeah, getting a lefty like Mitchell Parker, I think it's a very good spot to have him in there. So pay up all the way there. What if we're going a little lower there? My immediate attention just automatically goes to Nolan Gorman every time I'm in like the mid tier looking at second base.
Yeah, I mean, Nolan Gorman has been red hot. He is absurd recently. And so I'm absolutely willing to go right back there. Obviously, like I talked about, I could maybe go Cal Quantrill today, but we're obviously not doing that. I'm happy to still get some of those Cardinals bats that I like as well. And Nolan Gorman is probably my favorite in their lineup right now. He has just been absurd. So he's definitely one of my favorites in this range at second. I also wouldn't mind going India. He's batting 8th, so I wish he was batting a little higher up. But if you are, red stacking, India's been swinging a hot bat lately. So I think he's a good play here of a cheaper Reds bat as well. But yeah, Nolan Gorman is just pretty hard to ignore right now.
The only thing I worry about India, aside from the fact that he's got too much motor oil in his hair, is the fact that he did, wake up, but he's also woken up in Colorado, Chicago. I mean, he is going back at home.
Yeah.
But it's not like he's actually been ripping the cover off the ball at home against, look at this.
Yeah.
Everything.
It had been rough for a while. This little hot streak is by far the best he's done all season, but I know.
I want to like him so bad. I really do. I really do.
Yeah, he's kind of always been one of those guys that I think is going to be better than he actually is, but I'd still play.
Anything down in the value tier here that you're looking for? As soon as I see Danny Mendick's name, I know it's time to move on, but maybe you see a little something there if you want to pay down for Kyle Farmer or something like that.
Yeah, no, probably not. I think, Emmanuel Valdez, Red Sox guy against Woodford, if you, wanting to stack some Red Sox against Woodford, he's been, hitting a little better lately at 3,100, but I also just think why not pay the little bit of extra and go up to Nolan Gorman, who is a better hitter, period.
Yeah, I agree. And in a rock solid matchup here as well. So, yeah, I think if we're paying up, it's Albies. If we're going in the middle tier, it's Nolan Gorman.
Yeah,
probably. Moving over to third, Rafi Devers against Woodford's going to be a very, very big popular play. Austin Riley against Mitchell Parker. Machado's day-to-day. I don't even know if he's going to be in the lineup today. He left early last night. I'm not going to use Ryan McMahon, and we already talked about Yeimer Candelario. Devers, Riley, either.
Yeah, I'm probably leaning Devers. He's been just scorching lately. So yeah, again, here against Woodford, I think that's a good spot. I'm a little sad that we can't go back to Royce Lewis because he's not in the lineup. I would have loved to go back there because he's been great in his return. But with him out, I think Devers is my top guy here.
Yeah, a little disappointed that Morel's a little banged up as well because, he homered yesterday. That's 2 homers in his last 3 games. He's ready to go. These are the streaks where, John and I, we just lock him in. Every time we talk about it, it's like, did Chris Morel homer yesterday? No? Okay, then we won't use him. Did he homer? He did? We're in. So we'll have to check and see when the Cubs place that lineup there because Morel in Cincinnati, even against Hunter Green, even against them. Mid-tier, lower tier at third base here. Anything that you particularly like?
I don't mind Arenado here, especially knowing that Nolan Gorman's a likely second base play of doing a little stack with Arenado here, who, it's just not been hitting great, but so cheap for Arenado that still has this upside. Obviously just hit a homer. I just don't think he's going to keep being this bad. And he has been a little better as of late. And so I just think 3,800 to throw him in here. He's so much better than most of the other guys in this tier that I'm willing to take the shot at him.
Just holding on to those good old Nolan Arenado days that have just, I do worry about that drop off. It looks like it fell off a cliff.
It does, but it kind of looked like it for a little bit last year too. And then all of a sudden he started hitting great again. So I'm still kind of holding out hope that he will still go on a tear and, we'll see a bit of the old Arenado we're used to, but you're right. He's getting older. It might not happen.
King of Smack saying play those St. Louis lefties, which is, listen, sure. It's always a great spot to be in for, going up against these St. Louis lefties, going up against Quantrill. So you've got, Gorman, who we said, Burleson. We could go even here with like a Brendan Donovan.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm sure Donovan will be in, in the lineup tonight. So that's definitely a place that you could go as well if you wanted to stack a couple of cards there.
Yeah, I would totally go Brendan Donovan instead of Arenado, or even with Arenado too, because you can put him in the outfield if you wanted to do a little card stack. I could see it.
Yeah. All right. Anything further down here? A little Kike Hernandez, possibly using him. No, you don't want to use him.
No, thank you. Yeah. No, not a whole lot else, down at this lower tier. I don't think there's a lot of, really big values. Obviously, if you want to take the shot on Matt Carpenter too as the lefty, but I just don't know if he's cheap enough to be worth it when he hasn't really been doing much. Jose Miranda, I think, is also intriguing if you are going Twins. Obviously, he's a righty, but, he has a good bat. And so I think for this price, he still does provide some value here if you are fading Stroman.
All right, beautiful. That's third base. Let's go over to shortstop. Take a look at whoa! Look at the top there, man. Elly De La Cruz, we love it. Mookie Betts, love it. Although he was kind of a punk last night in his game. I had him as part of a fade scheme stack, right? And I had Ohtani, Freeman, and Mookie Betts in there, and it was. And on the other side, I had Pittsburgh, that stack in the middle there, the Olivares, Cabrian Hayes, and Nick Gonzalez. And it was working beautifully for me. And then Dylan Cease just sucked. And
yeah, he did.
So when Mookie and Cease let you down, it's a little upsetting. Anyway, Elly, Mookie, CJ Abrams is priced up. And then, listen, Volpe against Pablo Lopez, 4,900. That ain't cheap.
No, yeah, this top of is, kind of tough with how expensive they are. Elly De La Cruz hasn't been super hot lately, but obviously still willing to pay that, especially if you are stacking Reds. He is awesome. Mookie Betts also been on a bit of a cold streak, but again, especially if you got the Barnes 9, you're doing a little wraparound stack. I'm not really worried about a cold Betts at any time because he can at any moment go and hit a couple home runs and be awesome. But yeah, I agree with Volpe is a little expensive here for having to face Pablo Lopez. Not like I'm jumping to pitch Pablo Lopez against the Yankees, but I'm not necessarily wanting to stack Yankees against him today either because Pablo Lopez is fantastic.
Yeah.
And so most likely I'm not paying at the top end of shortstop today. But obviously, if you want to go Elly De La Cruz as a red stack, if you want to go Mookie Betts because you're doing a Dodger stack, totally good plays. But right, so don't love the top end.
Where are you looking then? Talk to me here about the middle tier. I'm not going to use O'Neal Cruz against Walker Buehler. I like Ha-Seong Kim against lefties instead of righties. Arcia against the lefty is actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's where I go to. I've always kind of been a go to Orlando Arcia when he's facing a lefty. He hasn't, been doing a whole lot recently, but I think he's also not had any really good matchups for him. And so here against Parker is a good matchup. Obviously batting all the way down 8th, but it's a really good Braves lineup. And so for 3,600, you're saving so much with him compared to if you're going to those top guys that I just think he's got that upside. I do like that play of Arcia here at 3,600.
All right. Beautiful. Anything further down, some value plays that you're eyeballing here?
No, not really. Again, when you can get Arcia for 3,600, once you start going below him, the upside just disappears really fast.
So then let's go to the outfield and give me any reason not to use Judge or Soto. You can't. You can't.
It's Pablo Lopez. Look,
doesn't matter.
He's an ace. So you still have to pay the 6,300 for him facing an ace. And so that's tough.
All right. So where do you want to go then? Talk to me here.
Obviously you can go Judge Soto against anyone. I totally merit that. But I think I'd rather avoid Pablo Lopez and go to Tatis or, Marcell Ozuna today. Tatis has been awesome. Ozuna's also been awesome. They're also in good lineups, and they're facing much easier pitchers to hit off of than those Yankees bats are.
Yeah, I think I'd be more inclined for Tatis against Ciccone than Ozuna against Mitchell Parker. And that's, that's just because the Braves have been really up and down a lot lately, right? So, listen, I don't hate Mitchell Parker. I don't love Mitchell Parker, but nevertheless, Tatis is a guy who I would definitely favor off of there. All right, Lewis Robert back in the lineup. I know it's Tanner Houck and you like him, but Robert's been hot. Stanton's been a good pay down. How about Boston lefties against Woodford? Jarren Duran sitting atop that order at 4,800.
Of all those guys, I probably would lean towards Duran, going against Woodford here if you are getting some of those Red Sox in especially. Again, I think those matchups for Luis Robert is a little tough, but I would go Jarren Duran here. But I also think I even prefer just going a little lower and going back to those Reds bats in the outfield of, Friedel and Fraley here, both 4,500 and 4,400 in this matchup. Both have been hitting pretty well, and in the top of that lineup, again, kind of like the Reds against Assad today. So I like these guys in the outfield.
All right, looks like we're taking Reds. Corbin Carroll, the lefty, against Vasquez if he doesn't get another day off because he's terrible right now.
Yeah, man, he's got to be better, right? Like, come on.
It's tough to be worse.
Yeah,
it's tough to be worse. Lane Thomas against Ronaldo Lopez is a decent spot. You could go with a little Jesse Winker against Lopez as well. That might work. What about you for mid-tier plays? Anybody you like in particular?
Yeah, I like the guys you said. I also like Profar there. Again, especially like if you are going to Tatis and, we want to throw Profar in there too. Profar's just been awesome this season. It continues, and he remains to be pretty cheap for how well he has been hitting. That's kind of where I want to live here in this 4,000 range. I do think that, you can add this other Reds bat here, Will Benson at 3,800. I like it better when sometimes he finds his way into the leadoff spot. But even batting ninth, I could still see including him in a red stack if you're doing it, just because he's one of the cheaper guys and still provides some good power.
Yeah, you do that 9-1 with Benson and Friedel.
Yeah,
usually the way it ends up. So I like that very, very much as well. Andy Pages, he's just been absolutely on fire still, and yet still sitting at 3,800. I love Pages in there.
Fifth, so
that could be a nice pairing with Austin Barnes as well.
Absolutely,
because they are at the bottom of the lineup. Although Pages is fifth in the lineup. Yeah, so a couple of spots in between. Anyway.
And already talked about those Cardinals lefties too, but obviously here in the outfield, if you want to go, Brandon Donovan, Alec Burleson, if you want to go some lefties against Quantrill here, absolutely, viable because they're super cheap also.
Yeah, Burleson all the way down at 3,300.
Yeah, he's been hitting super well lately.
I like that. All right, so we're seeing some good value there. I don't even know if we need to even look even further down to find any of these guys.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot lower than that.
So let's build out this lineup here. Let's see what we like. Let's talk about. We got right now it's 4,200 per player. We didn't want to pay all the way up. We wanted to look at Candelario, right?
Yeah, I like Candelario here.
So we want to get him in there, and we'll just put him in at first base, and we'll see what happens. Like how we want to deal with our red stack. We said we were going to pay up for Albies, or we're going to take Nolan Gorman and go with those lefty Cardinals bats.
Yeah, paying up for Ozzie Albies is so intriguing, but Nolan Gorman's been so hot and getting the savings here. We know we're already kind of on a tight budget. I think you got to go Gorman.
Yeah, definitely. Third base, we talked about paying down. We talked about Donovan or Arenado as possibilities there. You talked about Miranda, unless you think you're ready to spend up some money.
Oh man, part of me wants to spend up, but also like you're at Devers, 5,900 is so much that you would be so stunk everywhere else that I think we kind of got to save here, and maybe we do just commit to some of these lefty Cardinals and go with Brendan Donovan. Again, I also like Arenado, but I think it's probably smarter to go with the lefties and take Brendan Donovan.
We'll feel it out. We'll just see what it looks like right now. Shortstop again. You didn't want to pay all the way up.
Arcia is my guy here. I think
Arcia is your guy. You're locking in on Arcia.
Yeah,
I will not complain about that.
3,600 for him just seems like good value.
All right, now here we go. Now it gets a little crazy because we want Tatis in there. Still gives 4,250 per player.
I mean, that might be just about right to do. Can you do Will Benson and TJ Friedel?
If I go Friedel, can I get Benson? I can get Benson and have $200 left over.
Yeah.
So you've got the 9-1-3 stack for the Reds. You got a couple of lefty bats in there, and Nolan Gorman and Brendan Donovan. I guess you could, if you didn't want to go with Benson, you just wanted to go Candelario and Friedel.
Sure.
Then you could go with Alec Burleson in there instead of Benson, and you could go a third lefty Cardinal bat against Quantrill.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
I think that'll kind of work, but I like this, dude.
Yeah,
I like this a lot.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thoughts on Hamilton in a Red Sox stack?
I mean, yeah, I could see it as a part of a stack. He doesn't have a whole ton of upside, but he's cheap and he could go out there and steal you a couple bases or something. So I don't hate it. It's not one of my favorite plays, but I think you could do it.
Yeah. All right. And then, here we go. Oh, what's up, Icy? It's good to see you. Brian Anderson at third base outfield for the Braves, or reach around with Albies. You could, but Brian Anderson, like, predict when that dude's actually going to get a good base hit.
Yeah, exactly.
That worries me. That worries me. All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you guys all being here. Again, if you don't have a subscription to Fantasy Alarm, do yourselves a favor. Zap that QR code or go to fantasyalarm.com/win. Use the promo code Let's Go. We'll give you 50% off your first month. And that gives you full access to every sport that we do, season-long, DFS, and betting. We cover it all for you right there. So, again, it's fantasyalarm.com/win. Promo code Let's Go gets you 50% off. John and Pemba is sitting on the playbook. Ownership percentages over at Fantasy Alarm were just recently updated. I'll probably give them another update right before my Fantasy Alarm show starts. So right before 6 p.m. Eastern time. Henry, any final thoughts?
No, just good luck to everybody. Obviously, some really good ways you can go here. I'm feeling good about this lineup we built, and let's see if it pans out.
And we'll see if it pans out. We appreciate everybody staying tuned in. Again, before you go, hit that like and subscribe button over here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. For Henry Wilson, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.